to the Universalist Church in which love is the spirit. We are glad you're here, whether you're here in the sanctuary today or anywhere in the world on our live stream. I'm Mike Zanta, one of the co-moderators on your board of trustees here at Fern Street. If you are a visitor, we hope you'll sign one of our guest books at either entrance to the sanctuary or visit our webpage, westhartforduu.org, to learn more. There you can use the contact page to get onto our electronic mailing list, which is the best way for us to stay connected. We look forward to helping you become part of the Universalist Church. We'll have fellowship through Zoom and in Fisk Hall after worship. We hope you'll join us. This might be a good moment for gathering with community for something that lifts our hearts. If you need help finding your way to Fisk Hall, for our fellowship hour, any member of the church will be happy to guide you. Just look for someone wearing a Universalist Church name tag. You can find the link for Zoom fellowship in your weekly news or our Breeze calendar. If you aren't getting the weekly news, please do sign up for it on our website. And now, I invite you to take a moment to make your mobile phone silent, turn off your email and put away your keyboards, and settle in for worship.
Those of you at home or joining us by cell phone, I invite you to come with us as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary. And as this chalice is lit, let us call to mind the eternal flame that burns in Arlington Cemetery and has been burning since 1967. The Arlington National Cemetery was established in 1867, and it's where over 400,000 service members are interred. The grounds honor those who have served our nation. Rolling green hills are dotted with trees. Some of the trees are almost 250 years old and predate the first burials in that cemetery, providing a sense of beauty and peace for anyone who visits. Intimate gardens enhance the cemetery's 639 acres, and this impressive landscape serves as a tribute to the service and sacrifice of every individual laid to rest within these hallowed grounds. Many of those we love and are part of our own individual family histories are not part of Arlington. So today, as we watch the rhythm of this flame, let it remind us of all we can recall in our memories for our family members and friends for their service and dedication to our country. May our celebration of this Memorial Day weekend, as we light the flames of our grills as well as our chalices, speak to us of memories and memorials. May our love embrace all we do this honored weekend. Our opening hymn is hymn number 360, Here We Have Gathered in the Gray Hymnal. Please rise in body or in spirit in this sanctuary or wherever you find yourselves as we join in singing together. join me now in speaking the words of our affirmation, our covenant, as printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated. I'm going to have the children just stay with everyone where they are. And I'm going to read today from this book. It's sort of adapted. I've adapted it a little because the book is like 42 pages long. But the name of the book is Memory Jars, and it's by Vera Brosgol. Frida is the main character of the book, and she's on the cover. However, Frida went blueberry picking with her grandmother, whom she calls Gran. And she kept eating all the blueberries like most of us do when we go picking anything. And she was upset because she realized after they went blueberry picking that she was going to have to wait a whole year before she was able to pick blueberries again. And she was going to lose them, she thought. But then Gran reminded her that she could save the blueberries in a jar as jam, because Gran and she made jam together every summer. But as you can see, she was very upset. She was having a temper tantrum on the floor in the kitchen. So Frida began to look at things from a different perspective because she realized that she could save the blueberries in a jar. She logically thought, oh my, I can save a whole lot of things in a jar. So one of the things she wanted to save in the jar, she had to get lots of jars though. So she went to the hardware store with her wagon and got all these jars. But she began to save all her favorite things, like the scent of a fresh cooked chocolate chip cookie. So she put the cookie in the jar with the smell and sealed the top of the jar. And then she got a new set of crayons from her grandpa. And she put the new set of crayons in the jar because none of the tips were worn down yet. So she could save the crayons. And then she found a cloud outside one day that was shaped like a unicorn. And she put the cloud in the jar so she could save the cloud. And finally, she got a new stuffed animal, and she put that in the jar, too. Frida even saved the music from the next door neighbor who sang in the early morning. However, since she was saving everything, her shoes, the flour, all kinds of things, since she was saving everything, she discovered that she needed many more jars than that first trip to the hardware store. So Frida was constantly adding to her collection. She decided to even save the shape of the full moon. And while she was up there getting the full moon to go into the jar, she grabbed a couple stars too and put those in jars. She even put her very best friend in a jar because he was going to move, and he didn't want to move, and she didn't want him to move. So she shrunk him and put him in a jar. All of Frida's favorite things were tucked in jars. There they all are. Jar after jar after jar. Frida was thrilled that she had everything and everyone saved and safe forever. As she noted, saving everything and everyone in jars was quiet. It created quiet. I have a question for you before we go on with the story. What could go wrong with saving everything and everyone in jars? What do you think, Maggie? What could go wrong? Okay, Maggie said that she thinks she might have to take some of the things out of the jars because she's not going to have enough room for all the things in jars. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you wouldn't have a lot of toys to play with because they'd all be in jars. Yes. You wouldn't have anything to do. Are you trying to tell me that she might get bored? Oh, gee. I thought you only got bored when you had a whole bunch of things to do and you didn't have time to do them all. My misunderstanding. Yes. I didn't hear you. There wouldn't be any room in your bedroom. Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to sleep very well if all the jars were on your bed. That's for sure. Okay. So, as you've all noted, there are problems with putting everything and everyone in jars. So when Frida went home, she found, like I said before, that the house was really, really quiet, but there were jars everywhere. And so she decided that she was lonely and it was too quiet. So she went to the toaster and pulled out a couple pieces of bread and put it in the toaster and toasted the toast. But she sat down at the table and realized something was missing. Guess what was missing? The jam was missing from the toast. So she went to the refrigerator and she got out Grand's jam bottle and she put jam all over the toast, every corner of the toast. And as Frida was doing that, she remembered something. She remembered picking blackberries and blueberries with her Grand and then making the jam. She also remembered her walks down to the blueberry patch and the blackberry patch and the raspberry patch and bringing her wagon back full of buckets of those fruits. She remembered lying in the backyard at dark and looking up and seeing the moon in the sky with all the stars while she hugged her best friend, the stuffed animal that she had already put in a jar. Frida realized that saving everything and everyone in jars meant she really couldn't enjoy any of the things that were in the jars. Frida learned that most of the things she had put into jars would be much better saved as memories so that she could truly enjoy them whenever she wanted, or even better, recall them and do them again at a different time and a different place and replace one memory with another memory. Frida discovered that memories were alive and they could change. And that's our story for today. May you all have wonderful memories that you replace and not put into jars. Let us sing our children out with hymn number 413, Go Now in Peace. The voluntary offering, the sharing of our resources for our shared work as a religious community, is a spiritual practice for each of us. By offering our time, talent, and resources to this community, we help one another and our friends and our wider community. As part of that service, we share our general offering each week with organizations that do work in the world that brings us ever closer to becoming the beloved community we try to create. This month, we share our offering with Interreligious Eco-Justice Network. The Interreligious Eco-Justice Network is Connecticut's only faith-based environmental nonprofit organization. It is committed to justice and grounded in hope, and it is a unifying voice dedicated to positive, hopeful action on behalf of the earth, the one thing we all share and the one place we all call home, and we haven't put it in a jar. The mission of IREJN is to inspire and equip Connecticut's religious communities and their spiritual allies to protect our planet through education, engagement, and advocacy. To give electronically, please use the QR codes on your order of service, the links in the description, or those on our website to make your donation to our offering. Here in the sanctuary, our offering will now be gratefully received. accept these gifts graciously given for the work we do with one another and with our wider community. Thank you for your generosity. Please join now in singing Spirit of Life. Oh, wait. I screwed that up. My fault. We're going to now share the congregational reading number 465. Please rise in body or spirit as we read this together. I will read the Roman type, and I ask you to read the italics. If we will have the wisdom to survive, to stand like slow-growing trees on a ruined place, renewing, enriching it. If we will make our seasons welcome here, asking not too much of earth or heaven, then a long time after we are dead, the lives our lives preparing to live here. Their houses strongly placed upon the valley sides, fields and gardens rich in windows, the river run clear as we will never know it. And over it, birdsong, like a canopy. On the levels of the hills will be meadows, stock bells in new shade. On the steeps where greed and ignorance cut down the old forest, an old forest may stand, its rich leaf fall drifting on its roots. The veins of forgotten springs will have opened. Families will be singing in the fields. In their voices, they will hear music that is risen out of the ground. They will take nothing from the ground, they will not return, whatever the grief at parting. Memory, native to this valley, will spread over it like a robe, and memory will grow into legend, legend into song, song into sacrament. The abundance of this place, the songs of its people and its birds, will be health and wisdom and indwelling light. Please join me now in singing our doxology. Let us offer our thoughts and prayers for Nora S. She is receiving PT and OT in the Rehabilitation Center at Seabury for her lower lumbar back. She loves visitors, so if you have the time, go for a visit. Also, Alberta P. is settled back into her home at Compassion Care in Farmington Station. She also has appreciated our care and contact. She does not have a phone in her room, so it is best if you visit her personally or send her cards. Congratulations are in order to Deb H. and Maria R. for their wedding anniversary, which they celebrated this past Thursday, May 22nd. Outside our immediate community, let us remember all the military members throughout the globe who are serving their respective countries. May they each come home safe and well after their duties have ended. Now, please join me in our intentional moments of silence where you bring those things that are in your inner heart to our collective consciousness. May we, as this coming week unfolds, know that our memories and our memorials are significant ways we acknowledge those who have given so much for each one of us. Please join now in singing Spirit of Life.
Today's first reading is from the MIT Press Essential Knowledge series, the book titled Memory by Fergus Craik and Larry Jacobi. Just about everyone is interested in memory. Initially, this interest stems from the experience of memory's astonishing strengths and weaknesses. How can it be that the smell of baking bread transports us back 60 years to Grandma's kitchen, while a minute later we can't recall the name of a well-known colleague, which in turn pops back to mind spontaneously 2 hours later? We can remember details of some emotional childhood event with great clarity, yet forget where we left the car keys 20 minutes ago. We remember hearing the news of some shockingly unexpected event, the death of Princess Diana, or the destruction of the World Trade Center towers on 9/11. Not only hearing the news, but where we were, who was there, and what happened next. Yet studies have shown that such crystal clear memories are often false. How can that be when we are certain that some detail was part of the experience? What about extraordinary feats of memory? For example, the ability of chess masters to hold 8 or 10 games in mind simultaneously as play progresses, or a musical maestro to conduct a long, complex symphony without the aid of the score. What happens in the brain when older people become pathologically forgetful in the early stages of Alzheimer's disease? And if you start forgetting names and intended grocery purchases when you were 63, is that simply normal aging, or is that a sign of encroaching dementia? Memory can therefore be portrayed in several different ways. Our own experiences of memory, the rich collection of a family holiday, or the frustration of failing to recall a name we know well, are probably most important to us. Today's second reading is from The Den, the student newspaper of Mercer University. It is titled Memorials, Sacred and Symbolic, and was written by Kate Reining. On a day like today, filled with memories of terrifying news reports and phone calls, life-altering events, and for some, life-ending events, I meditate on the importance of memorials. Long a part of the human tradition, memorials serve as a physical marker of a moment in time, a triumph, a struggle, or a loss. A memorial can serve as a simple stake in the ground, but there is a way it can become more sacred than symbolic. It occurs to me that in an age marked by terrorist attack, chemical weapons, and war profiteering, we need to see the sacredness of memorials once again. Our culture does not grieve well. Mourning is avoided and truncated at all costs. But memorials are one way to give meaning and importance to the process of grieving. Days like Memorial Day should not be forgotten. It is a day for survivors to wrestle with the chaos of life and to remember loved ones lost. Today, I urge you to make space for memorials in your life and to consider sacred some of those memorials which already exist for you. These are spaces where you can interact with the divine, recall the pain of loss, and invite the divine into your struggle. It is also a place to remember moments of celebration, sweetness, and meaning. You can create your own memorial to put in your home in remembrance of someone you have lost, or a time which has brought freedom or blessing in your life. Or create community memorials in your church or civic group. Regardless of where you decide to commemorate, invite the comforter and peacemaker into the memories. Be reminded that the divine presence is in the silence and the chaos.
Was in that heart, and in that
Death drifts a brain in dust and swallows the young limb's glory. Death makes justice a dream and strength a traveler's
Frida learned in our time for all ages that capturing very special moments in jars doesn't work well over time. Just think about all those jars filled with spider webs, little spiders building webs from jar to jar. In our song, in one of our songs, Ivan Gurley, the one that Richard just sang, Ivan Gurley wrote that as a soldier in World War I. And they think he wrote it while he was in the foxhole. He was a very gifted young musician before he went to war, and he died very early at the age of 49 after his experience in the war. And he wrote these words that Richard sang so beautifully. "This is a sacred city, built of marvelous earth. Life was lived nobly there to give such beauty birth. Beauty was in this brain and in this eager hand. Death is so blind and dumb. death did not understand. And then the final stanza in that song says, death opens unknown doors. It is most grand to die. Another one of our music pieces, Lament, which came earlier in our service, was written in 1915 by British composer Frank Bridge, who was deeply opposed to World War I. A deeply convicted pacifist, he wrote pieces that reflected his beliefs. He also made a sharp change in his musical scores and used a more radical harmony as he thought to express his thoughts about the war. This is the weekend that we as a country, as a nation, as people, use our music and our memories to call forth those who have sacrificed and continue to do so that we may enjoy the benefits of our freedom. Whether we try to contain those memories in jars, or in mausoleums, or lone grave sites, or burials at sea, or in the earth in a remote location, we desperately try, to use all the means we have at our disposal to remember. The question I pose for you today is to have you reflect on the question, how well do you memorialize? As we stoke our grills, or turn on the gas or electric broilers we need to celebrate Memorial Day in that way, we also need to think about the lives that have been lost as we do those things. I can't wrap my head around these numbers, but here they are. Between the Civil War and Vietnam War and all the wars in between those two, we lost over 134 million people, military and civilian. And those numbers are in all cases estimates, because those wars involved so many small and remote villages and towns where some people weren't even known. Some had no family to recall their presence. Lives were lost, but some of those lives were spent alone. They didn't have communities like ours who discussed death and dying, nor did they prepare for their deaths. I am reminded as I write this sermon of words spoken in our Dancing with Death and 5 Wishes workshops regarding preparations for death. Several of the participants noted in their own way that we need to take living our lives seriously. We need to take living our lives with joy and verve and enthusiasm, and give our lives each and every day all the energy we can. But I'm really not here today to reflect on the numbers of the dead. I am here today to call upon us to distinguish between our memories and our memorializing. Specifically to emphasize the how well in the question I posed. How well do we memorialize? As our first reading pointed out, memory can therefore be portrayed in several different ways. Our own experiences of memory, the rich recollection of a family holiday, or the frustration of failing to recall a name we know well, are probably the most important aspects of our memories. The Britannica notes this about memory, quote, Memory is the mental process of storing and retrieving information, essential for intelligent behavior and learning. It's a complex process involving chemical changes in the brain, particularly in all three parts of our brain: the thalamus, the cerebral cortex, and the hippocampus. So our memories are complex. Our memories is where we begin to take up the task of memorializing. For example, in my memory, I remember the stories of the young men returning from Vietnam who shared with me during my Saturday workshops at Harvard Divinity School what they had experienced and what that trauma meant to them and their families and their best friends that they lost. I also remember the day as senior class president. Now I'm really going back far. When I placed the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington Cemetery. So I walked those rolling green hills, and I was breathless after placing that wreath there. I have deep resonance about both those experiences, feelings that touch my memory that will forever be a part of me. However, the memorialization that will take place at Arlington National Cemetery tomorrow is of a different order of memory. It, as our second reading noted, is sacred and symbolic. The author pointed out, long a part of the human tradition, memorials serve as a physical marker of a moment in time, a triumph, a struggle, or a loss. Amid the rows and rows and rows of white crosses that dot Arlington National Cemetery, the military will march and the military band will play, and then the single trumpet sound will call out taps. It reverberates in the silence there. And that tap music will acknowledge those beneath the earth who have died for each one of us here. It will fill the air with the sacred and national time of reflection and a ceremonial memorialization for our nation, for each one of us. Very similar to the gun salute that might happen in our memorial garden right next to that side of the church, or the songs that a family may sing as we bury ashes there. You each received a pin as you came in today. If you didn't get one, make sure you get one before you leave. I ask you to wear it today, and at least tomorrow, to join in the memorializing that we can do. The pin reads, "Lest we forget." One of the things I remember from growing up between the ages of 5 and 10 was the poppies that were sold. Instead of collecting money in the middle of the church service, veterans would be out in the middle of the streets with buckets collecting funds for the Veterans Memorial, and they'd give us each a poppy. So I've given you a poppy to wear. Take the time to use your memories and do some type of sacred ceremony for the people in your family who deserve memorializing. Do whatever you choose to do very well. And may your memorialization of your family members or your dear friends be sacred and symbolic of who you can be as a human: loving, compassionate, and leaning always into peace. May your Memorial Day be blessed, and may it be so. Please rise in body or spirit as we join in singing our closing hymn, hymn number 86, Blessed Spirit of My Life. Together our unison benediction. Engage with the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Please be seated and remain for our postlude.
About 100 years ago, freedom, buried in the ground. Mother Earth will swallow you. Lay your body down. Do we find the cost of freedom buried in the ground? Mother Earth will swallow you. Lay your body down. Do we find the cost of freedom